Welcome back to another Blender tutorial. My name is Anil Ferrão, aka Mr. Ferrão, and you are watching Artisticity, where creativity has no limits. So today I'm gonna show you guys how to make this amazing funky sci-fi tunnel in Blender 3D. This is a Blender tutorial for beginners. Also, if you are new to this channel, then do subscribe. It will help me a lot. So let's jump straight to Blender. Let us create this tunnel. I will go to File, New, and General. Don't save. So when you open Blender, you will get this default screen, which consists of camera, default cube, and the light. Go ahead, drag, and X to delete everything. Next, what we're gonna do is, let me just turn on the screencast keys. So you all can see whatever I type or click or the hotkeys I press. So first of all, press Shift A to add in a circle. From the circle menu over here that says add circle, you need to decrease the vertices to 6, 4, 5, 6 to make a hexagon. 6 sides, that's hexagon, I assume. So next what we are going to do is rotate this on the x-axis. So that is press R to rotate, that is on the x-axis, and we need to rotate this 90 degrees. So type in 90 and click to confirm. So when this is done, we need to make this into a tube or a container for the tunnel. How are we gonna do that? Press tab to go to edit mode, or you can just hover over the set object interaction mode, click and click edit mode, or you can just press tab on your keyboard, tab, and you will see the vertices you can play with. So don't do that. Undo. A to select everything, E to extrude, so it extrudes the faces, E to extrude, and we need to extrude this on the y-axis, so press Y, and this will get it locked on the y-axis only. Now you can press Ctrl to make this very systematic extrusion on the tiles. Click to confirm, and then I like the length just perfect. So next what we're gonna do is we will be giving it a material, a sci-fi material of the tunnel, whatever. Press tab to go into the object mode. So what I basically like to do is, you can go in the shading tab and do the shading there, but what I like to do is in the layout, I like to hover over the corner over here. When the plus sign shows up, I like to click and drag it to the left to make a new window. I will turn off the show overlays so I can just focus on the material, and turn on the viewport shading rendered mode. So next I will go here over to the render properties. So now currently rendering engine is Eevee. Click on ambient occlusion, click it down, and increase the distance to 1 meters. Click on screen space reflection and the shadows to high bit depth. So next we are gonna set the material for the tunnel. So in the editor type, click on the editor type and change it to shader editor. Drag this away, we don't need it. So then click on the tunnel, as you can see, tunnel, and in the material properties, when you click new, this will give it a principal BSDF material to the tunnel. And now for the base color, I will just make it a dark gray base color. That's where I like it. Next, I will give it a tacky texture kind of a thing. This is optional because in the video this won't be any visible, but I'm gonna give it anyway. So Shift A, add in a Voronoi texture. So how this looks is, it looks kind of like this. Scale it up. So to view any shader or texture, you just need to press Ctrl and Shift and then click on the shader to view it, or you can just click and drag the nodes like that. And if you click Ctrl and Shift and click on the texture, it will change the position, the distance, color. So now if you can see, this texture is a bit elongated on the tunnel, container, whatever. So if you have your node wrangler add-on enabled, you need to click on the Warner texture and then Ctrl T to add a mapping node and a texture coordinate node. So in the texture coordinate node, you need to take the object and plug it into the vector. And then you can see the texture is distributed kind of equally on the object. Now you can decrease the scale to make it bigger. Here we need to add a bump node. Shift A, type in BUM, bump, and this bump node, take the normal, plug in the normal to the normal of the principal BSDF and view the principal BSDF, that is Control Shift and click. And what this does is it will give it a bump to the material. Currently it's not showing. I will preview this material in the material preview mode. Click and there you can see this is not the view that I want, but we need to play with the height of the material. So the color you have plugged into normal, remove it and plug it into the height, and now we will see there are some cracks which makes it a little tacky. So this is not important, but I'm gonna do it anyways. It looks kind of tacky or sci-fi futuristic material. Next, what we're gonna do is we will go into the 3D viewport. We're gonna go into the edit mode by pressing tab, and we are going to give it loop cuts. What I like to do is press Ctrl R to give loop cuts and then scrolling up to increase the loop cuts. You have to give many loop cuts because we are going to bend this tunnel later. That is what I like, preferably. Click to confirm and click to confirm again. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to go to face select. Here there is a vertex select, edge select, and the face select, or you can just type in 1 2 3 on the keyboard. So we need to select the faces in a circular way. So one thing you can do is press AA twice to deselect everything, or you can just press Alt and A to deselect everything. So if you hover over your cursor on any face and press Alt and then select it, it will select a whole line of faces which is attaching to that face, just as you can see. Deselect it, and if you hover over the edge of the face and press Alt and click it, this is what we need. This will select only the faces which are connecting it around. You can also manually select this by clicking and then shift clicking, but this shortcut is good, so I'm gonna click Alt and click to select all the faces. So when these faces are selected, I'm gonna give it a new material. How to do that is to add a material by the plus sign over here in the material properties. So add to give it a new material. Remember, you have to be in the edit mode to do this. Add a new material and assign this new material to the selected faces. Now what we are gonna do is we're gonna give it a new name, that is blue light. Enter. And we are gonna give it a emission. Get this dot all the way up, make it blue just like that, and this material is blue. The next thing is we're gonna give it a green material and a pink material as well. So right in the middle, alt and click, no, alt and click the faces, adjacent faces, whatever it's called, alt and click there. I want it right in the middle. And again we are going to give it a new material, new, and assign, as you can see there. And we are going to make this emission white and green material. This will be green emission material. And then lastly we want to give it a pink material. So alt click to select the faces, plus to add in the material, new material, assign, and this will give it a new material, emission, take the dot to white, and we're going to give it a pinkish purplish material. I like it there. And we're going to change the names to double click, green light, double click, pink light. So we have all the materials. Now for the gray material, I want to give it a more of kind of a realism, roughness to it. So in the editor type, go to shader editor, and currently we are in the pink light. So if you click on the material, which is the tunnel material, so we'll change the name to double click tunnel, tunnel material. Okay, what we're going to do is, where there is roughness, we are going to add shift A, add a noise texture, and noise texture, and plug the color in the roughness. And that's gonna change the roughness of the surface, as you all can see. To view it more clearly, we will add a shift A, color ramp, COL, color ramp, click to add, and if you drag the black and the white sliders, this roughness becomes more intense. If you want to view the node, just click Ctrl Shift and click, and this will show you the roughness. So basically black is the shiny and white is the rough part. So now this texture is elongated on the object. What we have to do is select texture mapping node, plug this vector into the vector, and boom, the texture is distributed evenly on the object. So now decrease the scale, increase the detail to 16, increase the roughness if you like. I like it over there. And you can play with the sliders for more roughness or shiny part. And when you preview the principal BSDF, this is how it will look. I don't want the reflective surface to be that reflective, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the black color and make it a gray color, so the reflectiveness is little less. Okay, I like it there. Control S to save your projects. I am on P-A-T-R-E Patreon. I am on Patreon. We're gonna get to this Patreon part later. So save your blend file. Control S to save your blend files because you don't know when Blender will crash. So save your files when you make any changes. So now all the materials are done. Next, what we're gonna do is we need to add in the small lights as y'all have seen in the video. So for that we need to go into the 3D viewport and we are into the edit mode. Now you need to select everything by pressing A and right click subdivided. For subdivisions, give it more subdivisions. I guess 5 is good. Click to confirm. Now what you have to do is in the face select, you need to click on a face and then go to the select menu and select random, and over the select random menu over here in the percent you need to decrease the percentage of the faces to right about, that is what I like, a minimum percent, not too much. And we need to give it a blue light material, so click on the blue light and click assign, and that will give it a blue light material to it. Then we need to click on another face, go to select random, go to the green light material and click assign, and that will assign the green light material. Click on face, select random, and the computer will select the random faces. Click on the pink light, assign the pink light, and this will assign the pink light to the tunnel. That looks pretty cool. Control S to save. So next what we're gonna do is we need to take this long tube of container and make it into a circular donut shape. Tab to go to the object mode, and now we are going to give it modifiers. Here you see a wrench icon. Modifier properties, go to modifier properties, add modifier and give it a array modifier. Why, I'm going to show you in a bit. Array modifier, and this will give it a array modifier. So we need to change the relative offset factor, x factor, to 0, enter, and then z factor to 1, so that will make it a bit longer. And the count, we need to give it 3. When that is done, we need to give it another modifier, which is simple deform. Those are my chickens, please excuse the noise in the background. So by default simple deform is on twist. You need to change it to bend. So when you change it to bend, by default the axis will be on the X, but we need to change it to Y because we need a donut. So now you will see when you slide, click and slide this angle, this bends, and because we have nice geometry to it, this will connect perfectly just over there to 360 degrees. If it's not connecting, you need to click on this arrow, click, and there, right there, perfectly. This is a donut, a sci-fi donut. I like that. So next what we are going to do is we are going to apply all the modifiers. So you see the down arrow over here, click on it and apply the array modifier. Click on this and apply the simple deform modifier, and now this is in the shape of a donut. So next, right click on the Sci-Fi donut, set origin and origin to center or of mass, and this origin will come right in the center of the donut. Next you need to click Shift S and click on selection to cursor. What this does is this will get the whole donut to the center of the world. So next we need to add a curve there. So for that, Shift A to add a curve circle. So go to the Z orthographic mode, view mode, and I will just turn on the toggle X-ray to view this. And you need to scale the circle, the Bezier circle, by pressing S and scaling, and you need to just stop where this scales right in the middle, right over there. That is fine. Click to confirm, and as you all can see, the Bezier circle is right between the Sci-Fi donut. Next we need to add a camera, so Shift A, add a camera. Camera will place in the middle of the world origin. Now for the camera, we need to give a camera a constraint. Selecting the camera, go to object constraint properties and give it a constraint, which is a constraint of follow path. Click on it, and for the target, click on it, and Bezier circle we just added, click on the Bezier circle, and this snaps the camera to the circle, as you see. Now what we do is we need to toggle the camera view, and this will take us to the camera view. So now in the object properties, we need to rotate your camera for a better view. So to do that, you need to play with your x-axis, get it right over there, and on the y-axis, right there. And if you go to the object data properties of the camera, decrease the focal length right about to 20 mm is, I feel, is good. Control S to save. Now going back to the constraint properties, here where it says offset, if you click and slide the offset, the camera moves and animates. But there is a problem. The camera is on a fixed position. Undo. To fix the camera, you need to click on follow curve. And now when you click on follow curve, the camera replaces its position, and now you have to go to the object properties again and to the position again. Right there is good. 90 degrees X and minus 16 degrees Z. And now when you go to the constraint properties and you slide the offset, the camera will stick to the curve and will give you a perfect loop animation. So now here, undo this, drag the timeline window, and in the output properties, change the frame rate to 30, output from PNG to FFmpeg video, output on the desktop, type in support me on Patreon. Next, in encoding from Matroska, we need to change this to MPEG 4, medium quality to perceptually lossless. Good, you can change to real time for fast rendering. Now go into the view menu in the timeline and show seconds, and I want this to be 10-second animation, so drag the end frame to 300, that is exactly 10 seconds. So next we'll go to the constraints again, and we need to keyframe the offset. Do not click on animate path because this will automatically animate the path. We need to animate this manually. So now we are on the frame 1 of the animation. Right click and insert keyframe, and then if you click this jump to endpoint, it will jump to the endpoint. And if you zoom in by scrolling the middle mouse, and if you click on the right arrow, what this does is this will take your timeline cursor to one frame forward, and you need to click and drag the offset to minus and straight minus 100 will be the full complete rotation of the donut. Right click, insert keyframe. I did an offset of one keyframe because this is the exact keyframe which is over here. So when I play this will loop perfectly. So as you all can see, this loops perfectly, but there's a problem when it comes to the end. In the beginning it slows down because the animation is in Bezier. So to correct that, you need to right click on the keyframes, go to interpolation mode and change the interpolation mode to linear, and that will correct the animation. And it loops perfectly. Next, what we're going to do is in the object properties of the camera, go to the first frame. In the Y rotation, right click, insert single keyframe, go to the jump to the endpoint, press the right arrow to go to the next frame, right arrow, and then rotate this to 360 degrees, or just you can click and type in 360, enter, and right click, insert single keyframe. Why I did this? When you play this animation, this feels like you are going up and sideways and down and sideways. So basically you are not going up or down, only the camera is turning 360 degrees, and that creates an illusion that you are going up and down. Simple logic. So now let's render this. Now in the render properties in EV, you can turn on bloom if you want to give it more wow effect. Render samples to 100, and we have already done the output of the video. Let's preview the final render preview. This is how it will look, and then you just have to go to the render tab, click on it and render animation. Or if you want to render this in cycles, you have to change the rendering engine to cycles, and this will give it a more realistic material because cycles is a ray traced rendering engine. So in cycles, and if you have a GPU, click on the GPU compute, tick the adaptive sampling, and in the denoise, in the render, click on the render and click optics, because if you have a GPU in your laptop or PC, for the render you can just leave it to 180 samples or give it 200 samples. This will increase your rendering time. And then you need to go to render and render animation. So if you guys make your own tunnel video, then feel free to tag me on Instagram at artisty_ct and I will showcase your video on my story. And if your tunnel video is very good, I may even post it on my feed. So that's pretty much how I made the tunnel. If you guys want to download this blend file, then you can download it from my Patreon. I will put the link to my Patreon in the description. So I hope you guys learned something from this video. If you did, then do like, subscribe and hit the bell icon to never miss any updates from Artisticity. Also check out the description area for any interesting links. Do follow on Instagram at artisty_ct for real-time updates. This is all for today. See you guys in my next video. Until then, stay creative.